Welcome to my YouTube channel, Bachelor and Master English. Today, I'm discussing a poem, The Chimney Sweeper by William Blake. First of all, I would like to request you to stay with me till the end of this video. If you have any queries, you can put in my comment box. I hope you'll accompany me. I was just a little boy when my mother died. My father then sold me into the chimney sweep profession before I even knew how to speak. Since then, all I have done is sweep chimneys and sleep covered in dirt. A new boy arrived one day. His name was Tom Dacre. He cried when his curly lamb-like hair was shaved up. I told him not to worry with the 7 head. His beautiful locks wouldn't have to get dirty from all the chimney's dust. Later that night, Tom fell asleep. He had a vision in a dream. He saw row of dead chimney sweepers in black coffins. An angel came along with a key and unlocked the coffins, setting the sweeps free. Then they frolic in green fields, bathing in clear water and basking in the sun. Naked, clean and without their work implements, the sweeps rise to heaven on clouds and play in the wind. The angel tells Tom that if he behaves well, God will take care of him and make sure he is happy. The next day, Tom woke up. We got out of bed before dawn and went with our bags and chimney brushes to our work. It was a cold morning, but Tom seemed fine. If we all just work hard, nothing bad will happen. Let's go with the poem. First of all, let me recite the poem, The Chimney Sweeper. When my mother died, I was very young, and my father sold me well at my tongue. Could scarcely cry, weep, weep, weep. So your chimneys I sweep, and in soot I sleep. There's little Tom Dacre, who cried when his head, that curled like a lamb's black, was saved. So I said, Tom, never mind it, for when your hair's bare, you know that the soot cannot spoil your white hair. And so he was quiet, and that very night, as Tom was sleeping, he had such a sight that thousands of sweepers, Dick, Joe, Ned and Jack, were all of them locked up in coffins of black. And by came an angel who had a bright key, and he opened the coffins and set them all free. Then down a green plain, leaping, laughing they run, and wash in a river and shine in the sun. Then naked and white, all their bags left behind, they rise upon clouds and sports in the wind. And the angel told Tom, if you'd be a good boy, you'd have God for his father and never want joy. And so Tom awoke, and we rose in the dark and got with our bags and our brushes to work. Though the morning was cold, Tom was happy and warm. So if all do their duty, they need not fear harm. This is all the poem. Let me talk about the poem first. The speaker in the poem is a very young chimney sweeper. He is motherless. He is an orphan. He had lost her when he was very young child. She had died when he was very young. In Blake's England at the time, little boys were commonly employed by master sweeps for sweeping chimneys. A boy carrying a brush was sent up a chimney in order to sweep away the soot that has accumulated on the inner walls of the chimney. Most of the boys were sold by their parents to the master sweeps, who trained them for the work, which was not only unhealthy but dangerous. The poem comprises the agony of children who were forced to live a miserable life, the life of the chimney sweeper. This poem is about the young chimney sweepers. It's clear. The speaker is a chimney sweeper. He recounts or he narrates the details how he gets involved in sweeping chimney business. He says that his father had put him into the work as a chimney sweeper after the death of his dear mother. The speaker also recounts the story of his fellow chimney sweeper, Tom Dacre, who was hurt when his head was shaved. The narrator consoles him and he goes to sleep. Tom had a dream in which he saw that all the sweepers are locked up in the coffins. An angel comes and with a bright key he sets the children free. Then they play happily in the sun, and the angel tells Tom that he will have a heaven of his own. Next morning when he wakes up, he decides to work hard because he believes that if he works hard, he will get a reward nobody will harm. Okay. Let me give you the summary of the poem. William Blake's poem, The Chimney Sweeper, is about the chimney sweeper. Here, the speaker is a chimney sweeper. He cried because his mother died early, and his father sold him in chimney sweeping business. At the age of 4 or 5, boys were sold to clean chimneys due to their small size, diminutive size, let's say. Tom Dacre is the name of a chimney sweeper. The expression that called like a lamb's back uses a simile to compare with the curly fur of the lamb. Tom Dacre's head was shaved in order to avoid the risk of forming layer of soot getting into the hair. The phrase locked up in the coffin of black indicates sooty bodies of chimney sweepers dead and put in coffins. The angel opened the black coffins with a bright key. He rescued the boys from coffins and took them to a sunny meadow. A moral is introduced in the lines, and the angel told Tom, if he would be a good boy, he would have done good for his father and never want joy. Though our sympathy for the chimney sweepers has been aroused, the focus now shifts to what is expected of them. They must behave properly. If they want God's favor and if they want to be happy, the condition for Tom to get joy is to follow what the angel told him. The angel's words have produced the desired effect. Tom and other boys get up early in the dark and go to work with their brushes and bags for chimney sweeping. The angel told Tom to be a good boy and he would thank God for his father. The morning was dark and cold. However, Tom felt warm because his dream had confirmed him with the hope of God's fatherly care of him. Tom was given the message that if we are honest in our jobs and responsibilities, we don't need to be worried because no one can harm us. Tom was given the message that if we are honest in our jobs and responsibilities, we don't need to be worried because no one can harm us. The poem closes with a moral which teaches children never to neglect their duty. Some readers will perceive irony in this line. The little boys are being asked to do their duty. But what about the employers who are callous and who exploit them without any qualms of conscience? The very question about the responsibility and accountability, let's say, the moral is lacking among the employers. Among the employers are exploiting. So their torturous and callous behaviors are to be questioned. It's unclear how long the promise of religious salvation or redemption can keep away from the realities of suffering and hardships for the young devotees like Tom Dacre. Okay, let's talk about the major themes in the poem. The Chimney Sweeper is a popular poem on account of its theme of poverty, innocence, and the suffering of the working children. Misery, death, and hope are the major themes of this poem. The poem presents the miseries of children as chimney sweepers and their contentment in life. It is through the mouth of two young speakers the poet conveys his idea that one should not lose hope. One should always be optimistic rather being pessimistic. First, they are seen unhappy with their job, but later they accept their fate after having that vision, and somehow their lives become easy for them. They believe that their hard work will surely pay them in the long run. The cruelty of life and society from the perspective of a child is the major theme in the poem. As in much of Blake's more somber poetry, life and society are intermingled in the Chimney Sweeper. Okay, let's analyze and discuss the poem. The poem Chimney Sweeper is set against the dark background of child labor that was prominent in England in the late 18th and 19th centuries. It is a humanitarian poem with the sense of humanity from the perspective of the poet stealing their freedom and joy. It's the picture and flight of young boys like Tom Dacre, whose usual age is 6 or 7. In one of the dreams that Tom Dacre has, the vision that contains the poem's key message. It's a bleak dream. This vision seems to emerge from Tom's imagination instinctively, as though Tom knows deep down what childhood should be like. All in all, then, the boy's hardships combined with the innocence of this part of the dream cast doubt on the truthfulness of the poem's conclusion that the sweeps only need to do their duty in order for God to take care of them and make them happy. In the Chimney Sweeper, from the Songs of Innocence, Blake can be interpreted to criticize the view of the church that through work and hardship reward in the next life would be attained. This results in an acceptance of exploitation observed in the closing lines, if all do their duty, they need not fear harm. Blake uses this poem to highlight the dangers of an innocent, naive view, demonstrating how this allows the societal abuse of child labor. Blake's poetry portrays the corrupting nature of experience. Blake describes the chimney soot spoiling the poor white hair of the boys, Tom. In particular, this soot represents the corrupting nature of child labor. The chimney sweepers, once innocent and joyous children, are now tainted with experience. From innocence to experience, there is a transformation after the angel appeared and gave them freedom or set them free, and that angel told Tom to be good boy. There we can see innocent children leading to experience. The angel promises redemption in the eyes of the God to the chimney sweepers. However, there is a price to this redemption. The angel states that if each child is a good boy, then he will want for nothing in the afterlife. Only God will be favoring them. So, before I wrap up the session, I can say that the poem can be interpreted from the humanitarian point of view regarding these small boys who need love, care, affection, and parental care, and their living conditions, the bleak, the poor condition, and it needs to be improved. And these naked boys, because nobody is there to look after them, nobody is there to care for them, and all these boys who want in warmth and warm clothes in the cold, but they look naked. Being a good boy, to get the faith and to get the love of the God means, and church is forcing the children to be dedicated to God. Instead of getting them to know about life and other things, the church is forcing them to become good boy. But what will be the advantages, what will be the outcomes is there will be security. Moral of the poem here, the poem closes with a moral. So if all do their duty, they need not fear harm. The moral puts another conventional construction on this matter. Doing one's duty here means primarily going up chimneys without making fuss, and the harm is the real punishment given to ships who would not work. A critic has suggested that doing one's duty here means the dreaming up dreams which console the child. Perhaps the line could be interpreted as if chimney sweeps adapts himself to wretched condition and feels comforted by glimpses of innocence in his dreams, then he may be able to keep his humanity from being lost altogether. So this is all about the discussion of the chimney sweeper. How did you get my points during the discussion? If you have any queries regarding the presentation, please put your comments in my comment box, and I shall try to improve as far as possible. And I would like to thank you for your time and thank you for your attention. I shall be back with another video. Before I close, I say namaste to you all. I request you to subscribe my channel. Thank you very much.